This is a men's channel with men's content. I am your host, Jeremy Hill, aka the Gentleman Rogue. Now let us get into the topics, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know you ain't gonna like what I gotta say, but I really don't care. I'm gonna back it up with some sources and some percentages. But this is what I believe. Modern women, black women in particular, ain't good for nothing no more except for headaches and baby making. Because black women today, they seem to have so many children outside of wedlock. So majority of black women today are giving birth to bastards, bastard children. And I mean it in the dictionary term. I'm not saying anything bad to disrespect nobody, and I mean this peacefully. But a bastard child is just a child who is born to parents who are not married. And the sad thing about our culture is that we celebrate the fact that a black woman can get pregnant, and once she gets pregnant, we'll pat her on her back and say congratulations, as if that is an accomplishment of sorts. That is terrible. That is shameful to have yourself pregnant by a man who doesn't want to get married to you. Marriage was never on the table. And if you look at these particular type of women, the majority of women who are having children outside of wedlocks have a horrible time vetting men. What do I mean? Most women with kids usually have kids by drug dealers or ex-cons. Tell me I'm lying. The majority of black women that I've known in my lifetime, when they have kids and they are raising them by themselves, it's because these women were living a whorish lifestyle, jumping from dope boy to dope boy to dope boy, or just chasing sugar daddy after sugar daddy, chasing the bag, sleeping with random men, getting drunk, getting high, and blaming it on the alcohol, blaming it on the intoxication for getting pregnant on a one-night stand. All they was doing was being whorish. And this also happens to married women, women who are already married, who have already taken vows, who are committing adultery, sleeping with other men. They also get pregnant. Because if she is married to another man, if she gets pregnant by another man while she's married to her husband, that is still a child outside of wedlock because she's not married to the man who got her pregnant. Now let's keep it real. Now I'm finna give you my source and I'm finna go in on this. My source that I'm going to read from is the Houston Public Media News. And it says, out of wedlock births in Black America. It says, 40 years ago, a government report on the state of black family in America warned that almost 1 out of 4 black children were born to unmarried mothers. Recent figures suggest that now, almost 70% of black children are born out of wedlock. Why is that? Because the modern day black woman has no problem living a lifestyle of whoredom. They have no problem being Jezebels. They have no problem having threesomes. They have no problem having orgies now. They have no problem having experiments in sexuality. I've never tried sleeping with a woman. I'm a woman. I wonder what's that feel like. Women today are proud to be whores. And this is destroying the black community. There's nothing glamorous about having a bastard child. A bastard child is simply an illegitimate child. See, we gotta stop sugarcoating stuff and call it for what it is. Because a lot of you gentlemen, black men, and men of other races have noticed that in the black community, that a lot of black women have children outside of wedlock. According to what I just read you, 70%. So that means 80, 90, 100. About 30% may be married, but you also got to take in consideration of what the American Sociological Association says, that over 70% of women initiate divorce. So we're in bad shape. So you got these women who are getting knocked up, and what really irritates me, gentlemen, is that a woman can get pregnant, don't know who the daddy is, have that child, don't know who the child's father is. This same woman will get pregnant again and may or may not know who that father is. And again, if you take a look, gentlemen, tell me if I'm wrong. But the majority of black women who are having children like that, they are out the hood. They come out of poverty. And then that is still not an excuse for a lack of judgment. Don't get me wrong, the culture is pushing immodesty. It is pushing sexuality like never before. You cannot turn on a popular rap song that's performed by male or female without hearing about hitting it, beating it up, covering a woman with his semen, her saying that she can do all kind of things to him sexually, bragging on how she can suck something without gagging. The black community has been corrupted by this type of mentality. There's nothing cool with someone saying, hey, I'm pregnant, I'm not married, and then you want to throw this woman a baby shower, celebrating the fact that this woman has been sleeping around and got a man's child in her before marriage, or this man don't want to have nothing to do with the child. Now, before the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, making it now illegal to have abortions in the United States, because for 50 years they was allowed to, and this ended it. Now, black women, according to the numbers, led in abortions, and black women also lead in having children outside of wedlock. So before the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, women was running in the hundreds, running in droves to either get an abortion or to have a child out of wedlock, to bring forth a bastard child into this world. Hold on for a second, gentlemen. This right here, we gotta address this. Hold on for a second, gentlemen. Gotta cut this. It's a good Dominican cigar. I don't have my scotch with me right now. We're gonna get back in this topic, but I gotta light this cigar. It's a Dominican cigar. Some people ask me what it was. It's an LFD Dominican cigar. Pretty good. Hold on. Okay, let's get back to it. You know what's so crazy, ladies, is that you will have the nerve, the audacity, in my personal opinion, the stupidity to want a man after your womb has been used up, after there has been a revolving door on your vagina, and you have impregnated bastard children, illegitimate children, children outside of marriage, and you want a man to come into that mess? You want a man to come in, and most time when a man do decide to take over the responsibility of another man's child, he don't adopt him. He don't take it to the court and get it done legally. So what happens now? That man puts all his time, all his effort, all his money, all his leadership into a child that's not even his. And then she gets mad or she gets tired and bored of him. Then she takes that child that he may have developed strong emotional attachment to, and the child may have also strong attachment to him. She takes the child and her away from him. So now he has nothing to show for the investment that he placed into that illegitimate child, into that bastard. And I'm not using the word bastard in a mean way. You can go to the dictionary and find out that the word bastard simply means a child that is illegitimate, that is had when the parents are not married. This is not a message of hatred. This is a message of love through accountability. I highlight the problems in the black community, and I want everyone to come together peacefully. But the peaceful solution is only going to come through us discussing this BS here. There are far too many young black women who is not even 23 years old, who have 2 or 3 different children by 2 or 3 different men. 3 bastard children. That is not how things are supposed to be. And when you tell a person congratulations for having a bastard child in your stomach, you are a part of the problem. That type of behavior should be discouraged. That type of behavior should be shamed. We should shame that type of behavior. We should not disrespect the person. We should not hate the person. We should love the person enough to tell them that this action is wrong. Hold on. This thing hard to stay on. Hold on. As I was saying, what is really disappointing is the women who have sisters, big sister, the older sister, who have already had this experience of giving birth to an illegitimate child. You see your younger sister doing the same thing you doing, going down the same path, and you're not telling her, you're not warning her, you're not discouraging her, you're not shaming that behavior. So you want her to go down the same path of stupidity that you went down. And you want to know why it's so hard to marry black women. And you want to know why you're not marriageable. Believe it or not, ladies, to tell you the hardcore truth, even though you are a beautiful creation of God, a beautiful thing, the black woman, but you really have a mark, that you put a mark against you. That's a serious strike. Most men do not want to raise another man's child. A man he wants to give a legacy. He wants to pass a legacy to his own flesh and blood. Every time he gives your child, the illegitimate child, the bastard child, who the real biological father does not want, or we'll get to that later. Every time he feed that child, clothe that child, he's feeding, clothing another man's legacy. He's feeding and clothing another man's child. You cannot be upset, ladies. Men have a right to want their own children. So, this is not to hurt people's feelings. This is only to reveal the situation, man. And we gotta really address this, because this is a very serious. I can go outside right now, I can go anywhere in Houston if I want to, and I promise you I'm gonna bump into all kinds of women who have illegitimate children, bastards. We can do that, and the daddy ain't there. Now there's some daddies who want to be a part of their children's lives, but then it still mess things up for another man, or what you want to call him, a man of value, or I think they used to say high value man, whatever it was. Any man who is successful or ambitious, when he sees you, no matter how beautiful you are, even if he see that little long-haired kid, when he finds out that there's still another man in that boy's life that you still have to co-parent with, that you still having conversations with, that's going to make him feel uncomfortable, no matter what man this is. Even it might be so uncomfortable that he decides, I don't want to deal with this lady, or it might be, I'll deal with this lady, but I'll never really have 100% comfortability dealing with this, because this man gonna call, checking on his kid. Then, if that boy's father really wants to have a relationship with his child, he's gonna want to vet you. If a man come into your life, lady, and he's a good man, single with no kids, whatever, but you have a kid from another relationship with a baby daddy who actually is kind of involved with that child, that baby daddy has every right to try to vet the man that you're with now. He has every right to see if the man that you're with will pose some type of threat or harm to his child. That's okay. But what is not okay is that the man who has no children has to deal with that. He should not have to go through somebody's interrogation or inspection, but unfortunately, that's how it goes. Well, gentlemen, as always, if you've seen something in this video of value, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. I am Jeremy Hill, aka The Gentleman Rogue.